Obviously, if you're looking at this, you're a fan of the Sly Guy Podcast. But if one weekly podcast isn't enough and you want me coming in your ears more often, what you need to do is head on over to patreon.com/Sly Guy Podcast, where we have reams and reams and a back catalogue of bonus content. We have up to 91 episodes of a bonus weekly podcast, which doesn't have a name. It's just me talking for half an hour. There's other previous series such as the Serial Killing It podcast, such as Dog Walks with Davey, and also the Champions League of Weird. What's not to love? Head on to patreon.com/Sly Guy Podcast and support the podcast, get bigger, get better, and help us to help you, as we've said every week. Now enjoy the show.
I'm the Sly Guy.
Hola everybody, and welcome to the Sly Guy Podcast with me, your host, Dave Elliott. I hope everybody is feeling good as we're in December. We're in the Advent month. Obviously, when I record this podcast, by the way, just to get behind the scenes, it is the 29th of November as we record this. Now let me just double check that I've not got this wrong, because 9 times out of 10 I will fuck up. Let me see. Yes, this comes out on the 2nd of December. So everybody, Feliz Navidad. We can start listening to Christmas songs. We can start being festive. I don't mind. I forgive you, and I'll not hate you for it. So there we are. It's all good. I'm feeling good. I'm excited to do another podcast for the people. Being back in the studio with the original Snake Rat, who's actually wearing an old vintage piece of what is it called, Ben? When people open like vintage, is it just vintage chic? When people open like old vintage stores and try to sell just old shit that their dad has in his attic?
Yeah, I presume so.
Well, he's wearing some Boytown vintage chic, which, by the way, how many times have you washed that hoodie, would you say? Like, because it does look a little bit washed out, to be fair, but how many times do you reckon you have washed it in total?
Quite a few times, yeah.
Not, put a number on it. It doesn't have to be precise. An estimate, a guesstimate.
Let's go for 26 and a half times. 26
and a half? I was expecting hundreds by the look of it, so obviously it's not great product from the Boytown podcast. But listen, here's something as well. The boys we have been cooking in our little kitchen, and by cooking in the kitchen it means we've just been buying equipment to try to advance the podcast, really. So Ben, yeah, you're going to have to get on the mic here to try to explain what the new equipment will mean for the podcast, because obviously you just send me fucking weird Star Trek shit, being like, oh, you need to get the XL Verbitrator 472 Jupiter edition, and I'm like, what does that mean? And then you're like, and you also need to get a super black vibrator 734 XL 217 QX. And I say, well, what's that for? And you say you need it. Then I'm like, why do I need these two things? And then he texts me a price, and I go, well, now I need to remortgage my house or kill myself and get my wife to buy it with my life insurance money that's going to be paid out. So what have we got that's going to improve the podcast this week, Ben? Try and explain to the listeners.
We have a new audio box.
Right. Now, here's the thing about me. I thought when I speak into this mic, right, I thought what happens is my wee voice goes in here, and then it zooms up a wee wire, and it goes directly into your computer. And that's it. So what actually is this audio box, and what does it enable us to do?
Thank you, David, for your question. The audio box basically takes the audio, that is, you speak into the mic, the mic then carries it down to the XLRs. And
XLR stands for what? Oh, you're not so much of a nerd now.
Recording rope. And then it goes into the recording box, which records onto a memory card.
Right, see, and here's another thing. See, memory cards. Ask me how much I thought a memory card was, Ben.
How much do you think a memory card?
£2. Guess how much they were? Like 40 or 50, something stupid, weren't they?
Yeah, that's what you bought. Ridiculously big ones. You
listen,
have enough.
If there's one man that likes ridiculously big things, if you know what I mean, ditties, it's me. Ditties.
Because you have enough recording time for literally 24 hours now.
Well,
non-stop footage.
I mean, people have messaged me before and said, the podcast's a little short. Can you make a 24-hour podcast? Hey, maybe that's what we do. Maybe we do. Oh, Ben, can you do that?
A full day in here.
Can we do a 24-hour podcast? We'll get guests coming in and out. We can get out. We can leave. We can go and have like a cup of tea or something. maybe that's what we'll do on Patreon. We'll do a 24-hour podcast. We'll get guest producers in, guest hosts.
I think it'd be better in here, full day.
Yeah.
One of us has to stay in the room at all times, though.
So between you and me?
So we can have bathroom breaks, coffee breaks, but one person has to stay.
But then we'll need someone in front of the camera, so if I step out, I'll have to get a guest on.
Exactly.
Well, there you have it. This is what we'll do. People are often... Now we need to try to work out what the plans are. If you're Patreons or patrons, whatever you want to call yourselves, you'll know Ben and I are working in our kitchen. We're trying to cook up some cookie ideas. So maybe what we'll do is, why don't we do that for charity? We'll do a 24-hour podcast and figure out a way for people to donate to the charity, and then we'll just do it. We'll run 24-hour podcast,
and once we get to a certain money, we'll just stop.
Yeah, well, no, we'll just keep doing, and then you know what we'll do when we finish 24. I'll upload it onto YouTube, and I'll take the entire year that I'm out of work to upload onto YouTube the 24-hour podcast. And I mean, it could be fun. It could actually be really fun, a 24-hour podcast. That'd be amazing.
What hour do you think you would start to flag at?
Me? Well, I wouldn't. See, if I was doing 24, you need to bear this in mind. If I was doing a 24-hour podcast, I would need... Google that right now. Has anybody... What's the longest ever episode of a podcast? There's... I'm getting in the Guinness Book of Records. I'm going to do the longest continuous podcast with no break. Tell me what it is. I'm doing it, whatever it is.
You're going to need to get another memory card.
Okay, what is it?
36 hours, non-stop.
Well, you know what? I'm going to do... I'm going to record the... How many cards would you need for the 36 hour? Of mine?
Probably one more card.
One more card, shit. So I don't get 2 more cards and break the world record.
But it does say here also the next article is how long is too long for a podcast.
Yeah.
40 minutes seems to be the ideal number.
40 minutes is the ideal number, but like a lot of podcasts now, people are saying longer is better. Yeah. I think that's something that... Yeah, well, I'm going to look into what we need to do to run. I'll tell you what, it could be a load of fun running the world's longest podcast. You could just have people in and out of this office for what, 49 hours. We'll do a 49-hour continuous podcast. We'll stream it live. People can donate to charity, and it'll just be a hell of a lot of fun. That might be a great crack. Let's do it. I'm going to ask people about it. Who wants to do it? You figure out what logistics. I'll get some other of my my colleagues in to see if they want to help produce. So you can sort of we can do shifts, bringing... Oh my goodness, this is what we're going to do this. Ben, we're going to do the world record podcast. There we are. What a start. And you know what? You're looking over there like... Nah, you're looking over there like, how do I hand in my notice to quit this podcast?
I'm just thinking, you have a very good memory. Mm-hmm. And it worries me because... This is an idea that you're going to stick with. Well,
you know what? There's a lot of ideas that I have and they sort of come into my head and then they disappear. They're not doable for one reason or another. At the minute, I'm like, this is... In my mind, I'm going, this is it. This is the genius idea that we've been looking like. People have been talking about, let's get a comedian boxing. Who cares? That's been done. What about the first... Ben, wow. Bro, you've heard it here first. The Northern Irish podcast scene is going to deliver you. By the way, tag other podcasters. Get this, clip this, send them links, do whatever you want. Put this in your Instagram story and tag whoever you want to be involved in. We're going to do the 50-hour podcast, and that's going to be the world record. Continuous for 50 hours. Now, the thing about that is, we'll need to do shifts. I maybe could do 8 hours at a time, go home, go for a nap, come back the next day, and there'll be somebody still just you. Produce some. I'll need to get all the producers of the day in.
I think you need to stay here the whole way through it.
The whole way through?
Even if you're sitting there asleep.
Well, you know what? Chair. Maybe I'll bring a bed in. That's a great idea. I'll bring a bed next door and we'll just get some sort of movable camera to come in and check on me sleeping. Yeah, that'd be great. The 50-hour podcast. All money goes to... We'll pick a charity. Several charities and donate there. People can donate online. It'll be like Children in Need, but X-rated. I was going to call it X-rated Children in Need, but that doesn't have a good ring to it. I don't think people will get behind that. But there you go. The 50-hour podcast, world records. Let's do it. 50 continuous hours. Which, let me see. 2 days is 40. 2 days is 48 hours. What's funny is there'll be I'll have to shit a lot. During it, I'll have to have like a lunch break and all. And go for a shit, cup of coffee, come back and leave whoever is hosting. That's a great idea. I mean, you know what I'm like. I get silly ideas and sometimes I'm going to try and pull this off. Forget comedians boxing or whatever else, charity gigs. We're going to do the longest podcast We'll make it happen, and we'll donate money to, like, I don't know, a charity that we care about. Like, you know, let's go say this podcast. What a charity. Register the Sly Guy charity and just be, that would be very sly. That would finally be, people are like, listen, I like the Sly Guy podcast, I like what it's about, but you're not really sly enough. How about this for Sly? Or do a podcast for 50 hours and say it's for the children and then steal the money. Can't get slyer than that. There we are. But yeah, well, I mean, how do we even start talking about the World Record podcast? But I don't know. But, and I mean, it's going to actually happen, because I was going to talk about premonitions before, and things that I've said on this podcast that have actually come to truth, come to life, come to light.
I was reading that board, taking down notes, and I read that as poo.
What do you say? Premonitions, poo.
And I was really looking forward to this bit.
Well, it actually says Premonitions pod as a wee clue, because hey, listen, people are getting insider tips. I have a whiteboard up there and there's some notes of things that I want to talk about. Some days it's empty, some days you just come in and talk shit. You know the episodes, you can tell. See, they're the ones where I'm like, fuck's sake, man, let's just go home, I've had enough of this bollocks, there's no questions, fuck me, you know. So, but this week, no, there's stuff on. I'll tell you what it was. In the last number of weeks, a few weeks ago, did a video you clipped up very nicely, Ben. By the way, people, show some love for Ben. The clips that he makes for me, they're beautiful. They're fantastic, one of a kind. I've never seen anything this beautiful. By the way, are you still TikToking? I don't think I've seen a wee TikTok in a while.
2 were put up this week.
Well, I'm not on TikTok, so I don't know. See, when you put them up, let me know, because I'm not on it. So
I'll send you a link for them.
Right, okay, that's good. But yes, basically, I've spoke about a few things in the podcast, and then I've come in. A few weeks ago, we did a clip about me talking about traffic wardens, about saying I don't like them. Guess what? Got a parking ticket. And guess what the most annoying thing was? I didn't get it on my car. So the card, see if you are listening to this podcast, the guy that put a traffic fucking, what's it called? Ticket on the blue Bomber. You know what you can do? Go fuck yourself, because he didn't put a ticket on it. I got a letter in my post saying you parked here on a certain day, and then the annoying thing was, I was like, no, yes, I did park there, but I also used the parking app to pay for that. Went into the parking app. I was like, done. Say it was like 11:41. My parking ticket was. Guess what time I put my parking on from? 11:43. 2 minutes. He got me. But you know what had happened? I was in my car. Tried to put my parking app up. Couldn't get it connected to the internet. I was like, fuck's sake, I need to do this. Now, because of COVID, you can't touch anything anymore. You know, can't touch money, can't touch fucking other people's belongings, can't touch a ditty or a dick. Oh, fucking hell, what's the world becoming? I decided to go into a shop to get some change. So, in fact, when I got to go to the shop to get some change, because people don't have money anymore, I had to go to a hole in the wall. And usually I just go to glory holes in the wall, and that's fine. You get a different kind of pleasure from there, but don't worry about it. I went to a hole in the wall, had to get a crisp £10 note out. Then I had to go in to a shop. Now, not a garage, not just a news agent's. I went in to a homeware store. And when I say homeware store, it's not like a B&Q, it's not a DIY store. It's like an actual homeware store. You're fiddling with the new equipment there, Ben. Is everything all right? Thank God for that. So then I went to get a wee ticket, and as I was waiting in the queue to get to the front of this homeware, I checked the parking app again, logged on, got Wi-Fi when I was in the shop, connected, paid for my parking, 2 minutes out. So you know what I'm saying? I got a wee letter telling me that I owed, say, £50. I did what I do with a lot of things. I ignored it. Then I got another letter a few weeks later. It said, you know, I owe £135. But I am so adamant I'm not paying this that, you know, maybe I'll just repossess my house. But I'm not paying it. Maybe I'll go home tonight and find the letter and actually contact, because then there's nothing on the letter. This is why they're pieces of shit. There's nothing on the letter to say you can appeal this. It's just, you need to pay it here. I'm like, well, guess what? Billy Bob, daddy ain't paying. So, you know what you can do? Take a wee parking ticket meter, you know, go around, take wee photos of my car, maybe add a wee ticket, be like, oh, is this car registered? Oh, is this car of taxes? And then you know what you can do with that? You can type it all through, you can place it on, you can put it inside a condom, you can soak it in WD-40, and you can shove it up your ass. Does that sound about right, Ben? Yeah, I mean, I don't know what. Are you? Is this what it is? You look really shitty. You're a fucking traffic warden in disguise. Traffic warden in disguise.
No, I'm not.
What's wrong? Are you allergic to something? This fucking sweet new equipment we've bought, Ben's just over there freaking out, having an absolute seizure. Or if you're French, séjour.
Just a sneeze.
Sneeze? Alright. Well, just while I forget, when I'm speaking my favourite language there, I just want to point out that I took a photo of something and I'll send it to you, which is 10 out of 10, by the way, for me. It's do you have your WhatsApp there, Ben? This was some event that's taking place in a local church, and I feel like they have taken my kind of like my interpretation of the Irish language quite literally in some sort of Celtic concert or Celtic concert, depending how you want to, and it's just called Celtish, which, as we all know, is Celtic but in Irish. So I love that. You pop that up, Ben, and on the screen, but also take out any of the details of the location or the people's names. Just blur out their faces and just put the name Celtish up, because I mean that's my new favourite concert, by the way. So anyway, I predicted that I was going to get a parking ticket almost. I got a parking ticket. So fast forward a few weeks, the parking ticket's going to be dealt with, and by dealt with means I'm going to put it in the bin, and I'm going to wait until I owe them like $7,000, and then I'm going to send them a picture of John Cena doing this, and I'd be like, nah, here's my evidence and my proof that I'm not paying. So we were going to, let's see if you know this street in Bangor, Ben. Do you know where the shop with the weirdest name in the world is? Britterome, Hamilton Road. Yeah, we're going around there now. If anyone knows it, you can go down Main Street. If you go right to Main Street, or you can go like past, it's the Imperial Bar, is it? Down that street, where like the Sunflower sandwich shop, by the way, superb sandwiches down there, yeah. And when you go, there's like a wee crossing there at the top of the road, and we were coming across, we'd indicated because the lights had gone green, and this little fucking jerk, nerd boy, was crossing the road, and you know what he looked a bit like Sam Smith, but with like a really skinny body. So he's really like, he's just that sort of, why Sam Smith looks really like he's smug about everything. Like, this guy had it, yeah.
You mean they?
Sorry, Sam Smith, the way they're really smug about themselves. Well, this dude, right, I don't know, I shouldn't actually gender people anymore. I am so sorry. I am a naughty them. What am I like? So this person, this being, was crossing the road, and he looked like Sam Smith, that person, and as they were walking across the road, they were like on their phone, looking like just a bit Sam Smith's. Remember when Sam Smith was fat and then they became thin? This person had the fat head but a really skinny body, and they were walking across the road on the phone like this, and it was like as we were coming to turn, they had not yet put their foot on the road, just walked out. See, if my wife had continued to drive as she should have, would have burst this person, like would have just hit the grill of our SUV and burst them. So she had to stop. I then just lost my shit and reached across with my short arms, fucking slammed the horn on. The person didn't even flinch. Walked across the road. I got so annoyed, I put the window down. You know where you're really angry, you're going to shout something to somebody, and I wanted to shout something like, sorry, or like, something like a proper old dad, are those bloody eyes painted on? But in reality, what I shouted was, you just like, you My wife was like, are you okay? And I was like, my anger was too quick for my brain to compute any words. But said individual didn't notice. Now, if it comes out, like, see if for example they had have looked at the car, right, Ben, if they looked at the car and then gone like this, and then when we wound the window down, I'd be like, and they'd be like, I'm sorry, I'd go, okay, fair enough, person can't hear too good. No, just walked on by. So in that instant, all I'm saying, sorry for see if I get more people correcting my grammar in this Bastrd podcast, I swear, fuck it, I'm gonna find you and I'm just gonna at your face. But this guy's cross, in that instance, right, you should legally be allowed to murder people. You should be. All I'm saying is you should be allowed to just take and just be like, hey, go like this. Hey, like, right away, baby. You know what I mean? To like whatever bit of them you can find on the road. Hey, there's a left foot right away, baby. You know what I'm saying? And that's where we're at. So that happened, and I just felt like it was karma for stuff I talk about on this podcast. Now, since we somehow ended up talking about Sam Smith and what they are up to, it would be remiss of me not to talk about this on this week's podcast. I spoke about it a little bit on the Patreon podcast, patreon.com/Sly Guy Podcast, about friend of the show, Demi Lovato, is up to their old tricks again. Ben, have you seen what friend of the show, Demi Lovato, has been up to recently?
You sent me a very unsolicited. I
mean, this is going to sound interesting.
Link,
okay, because unsolicited normally precurses some sort of crude picture, and it was just a link to a news article, Ben.
Those are always welcome from you, though.
Oh, well, okay. Well, then, therefore, it's not unsolicited, baby. It's requested. It's solicited, Ben, every week. Daddy, send me more nudes. And I'm like, nah, man. And that's the and that's how he sounds in his voice notes. Oh, my goodness. I'm actually embarrassed. I said, well, what the hell? How did that come out? Wow. There was just something in my body, dearie me, that came out very weird there. Sorry about that, Ben. Hope I didn't frighten you too much. So yes, friend of the show, Demi Lovato. I don't want anyone getting at me if I accidentally dead pronoun her. I don't know if that's a thing. Can you Google dead pronouning? I know dead naming's a thing, but please, I hope dead pronouning is not a thing, because I'm very bad for it. You know what? I'm old. I'm an old dad guy. Forgive me. Is it? What's the definition of it there?
It's dead naming occurs when someone intentionally or not refers to someone who's transgender by their name they used before they transitioned.
But what about the pronouns, I'm saying? So she's still Demi Lovato. They are still Demi Lovato. They are still Demi Lovato. I do want to also, like, listen, we know Demi Lovato is a friend of the show. What I do want to say about they, and again, is once they decided to, like, listen, we're non-binary, big respect for doing that. Obviously, we have nothing but admiration and respect for they. But why did they just get a really shit haircut and then be like non-binary now? Rather than just having, like, their normal hair. See, anytime, Ben, you have to go back over this and put this in the edit. Anytime I get the pronouns wrong, I want you to bleep it, please. And then and can you also, this is going to be homework for you, but anytime I do it, can you put a wee scorecard in the corner? Please.
And then you're going to ask me where this podcast's at.
Yeah. Well, listen, but you do that,
this.
and I'm going to donate money to some charity for every time I accidentally get this wrong, because honestly, heart of gold, this guy. So anyway, Demi Lovato has released a gender neutral sex toy. Now, Ben, have you seen this? You have seen the story. What's weird is since I've been accidentally getting their pronouns wrong, my computer has frozen. Again, this podcast is cursed, and for whatever reason, I'm not allowed to function because I've said things that the podcast world has punished me a bit. Let me see. You know, when I type Demi Lovato into Google, what springs up first? Demi Lovato alien. Demi Lovato sex toy. Weirdly, it's popped up sex life. Bizarre, yes. Demi Lovato has unveiled the new Demi wand. We are all deserving of orgasms. Demi Lovato unveils a new Demi wand sex toy, promising to take the stigma away from pleasure. Demi Lovato unveiled the brand new Demi wand as part of a campaign to take away the stigma. And again, Christmas has just hit me, by the way, with all these advertisements for like sex toys now. I don't know. So again, what they're doing is bad hair. So say what you want about Demi Lovato, yeah, whether you are pro what they are, whether you're against it because you're old-fashioned and bigoted and you're ignorant, that's fine. But if you're, you know, just have better hair. You know what I mean? We can all admit that Demi's hair is whack. It's like Billy Ray Cyrus, and his hair was never sweet. See, by the way, see people with mullets nowadays, fucking sort it out. They all look rare. You included, Demi, all right? But Demi's unveiled the brand new Demi wand as part of a campaign to take a stigma away from pleasure. They say it is a gender-neutral sex toy. Now, Ben, for those of you watching on YouTube, please put a picture of this gender-neutral sex toy on the screen. I'm sure all of you will agree. This new revelation in gender-neutral sex toys looks kind of like any other sex toy. It looks like a vibrator, cum butt plug, which, by the way, sounds like somebody should be a drag act called Vibrator Cum Butt Club. Butt Club? Vibrator Cum Butt Club. I mean, by the way, a Dutch drag act. But yeah, this thing here, you can see, like, it looks kind of like I don't know, it looks sort of like a drum stick or a bum stick. Why don't you just call it a bum stick? There you go. I'm going to make a sex toy and call it a bum stick. But basically, yeah, Demi showed it off and says that it's the first gen. Now, all I'm going to say is the design of this, it may be gender neutral, but it's going one of two places. It's going into a vagina or up a bum. You know, there's no in between there. I don't think it's going anywhere else. What they're trying to say is that you can hold it, like, it looks like it's, you know, always some of those, like for athletes where you'd hold the wee, you know, vibrating ball thing and you're, I've got a sore quad, you press it in, it's like, oh yeah. It's like they're trying to say, ding, it does that. But realistically, that's just foreplay before you shove the handle up your hole. Let's face it. It vibrates, and it to be fair, it looks like something, you know, my dog would enjoy. Not up his ass, but like as a chew toy. And yeah, you know what? Another thing Demi Lovato has done since they have changed is it's not a good fashion either. The hair, terrible. The outfit's terrible. I mean, I'm no fashionista, but come on, do something about it. So this is a discreet toy, apparently, and the portable device is marketed as the first of its kind with 8 vibration modes and its own carrying case that fits right in your bag. There's nothing more empowering than taking pleasure into your own hands on the go, they said online. Now, hold on. I have a problem with that. Ben, have you ever sought pleasure on the go? Like, have you ever decided, listen, this train journey's a little bit boring. It's time for something to go in my ass?
No.
Listen, Belisa, send us a Demi wand. Ben and I'll experiment on the podcast. We'll see what happens. But this is what the website said. There's nothing more empowering than taking pleasure into your own hands. Yet if I jack off on a bus, I'm a pervert. In addition, Demi has said, we've spent far too long pretending we're not sexual beings. It's time for us to put the stigma to rest. We all deserve pleasure. We all deserve orgasms. I mean, see if they were to like run for like an MLA or something, I'd vote for them. You know, listen, I'm sick of all this fucking green and orange shite. How about we all just jerk off and just be mates? I'm sure people would be up for that. I certainly would be as well. Oh my goodness. Now here's the thing that I find the most interesting about the Demi wand. It comes in its own chargeable case. So now, like this, Ben, you know these things, you have AirPods, don't you? You get them, you pop them in here and they charge. What Demi has done is made this sex toy, you pop it in its case and it charges. Now, I'm going to say that when it comes to earbuds, that's a good idea, because your earbuds are going to go, you're closing that up, it's all good. See if you have something that's been up your ass and you're pulling it out of your asshole and you're sticking it into a rechargeable case. It's not going to smell sweet when you open it again, you know? Like, people give a lot of shit to, you know, a packet of ham. Like, you open a packet of ham, you go, oh, whoa. Imagine you're just sitting in your car, even in the passenger seat, and you're like, oh, what? And you open up a case filled with a butt plug. I mean, you know, someone will be like, what's that? Is that pate? And you're like, nah, sphincter pate, baby. You'd be like, oh. Disgusting. Like, I don't think you're finishing that up your butt and you're washing it and then putting it back. I think what you're doing, you're ramming it up your hole, you're turning on the 8 vibration features on, and you're sticking it back in a rechargeable case. And all I'm going to say is there's going to be some skitters on that. I'll tell you what, at the minute I've been on a keto diet for the last week and I'm feeling good, and I've lost some lbs. Obviously the camera can show that, but I do want to also point out that my poos are enjoyable, because when you eat more fats and less carbs, they just pop right out. Like, it's like coming out with natural lube, baby. So if you're putting the Demi wand up there when you're on a keto diet, I mean, you're coming out, it's going to be nice and lubed up. So guys, Bellisa, send us that out. Demi Lovato, please, you're my favourite person. Send me out one of your wands. And I mean, if anyone has a Demi wand, please let me know what the rechargeable case smells like whenever you open it up. Another thing about the rechargeable case, he said it's discreet because it looks like a glasses case. So they're like, oh, is that a dildo? No, it's a pair of glasses. That's awkward, isn't it? If like your mum comes around, she wants to like do a crossword and she's forgotten her own reading glasses and then takes that up. No, it just opens it up and it's like fucking opening a Tupperware full of last week's chicken. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, it's Demi's hole. It's stinking. Do you know what I mean? Like, and this is one of the problems of sex toys. I had a friend who will remain unnamed, and he was purchased, and his pronouns are he, him, by the way, so it's alright. He was purchased as a present on his birthday, a fleshlight torch. Have you heard what a fleshlight is, Ben? Stick a photo of a fleshlight up for those that don't know what it is. A fleshlight. By the way, I ask you a lot of things in this podcast, Ben. 9 times out of 10 I'll go, do you know what this is? Do you know what that is? You'll go, nah. And I ask you, do you know what a fleshlight was? And he goes, oh, why? Do you have one? Have you ever had one? No. Would you like one? Bellisa, send me the Demi one, send Ben a flashlight. We'll trial them out. Patreon.com/Sly Guy Podcast. But basically, friends bought him a flashlight for his birthday one year, and this was when he lived at uni. That was fine. And he came home and put it in his wardrobe, said nothing else about it. Now, for those who don't know, the flashlight is basically a vagina inside the handle of a torch. Which, by the way, whoever invented that, wow, what a pitch meeting that must have been. So he's there. He's got this in the wardrobe. That's all good. It's a vagina. Silicone vagina inside a handle of a torch. So, his mum and dad, keen gardeners, green fingers, they're looking for something in the shed. They go, here, do we have a torch in the house? And the dad was like, oh, no, I don't think there's a torch. And my mate's mum was like, oh, I saw one in so-and-so's wardrobe, man. Just go and get that. So I all right, so I went up to the wardrobe, grabbed what looked like, to be fair, a big mag-light torch, brought down into the shed, took the lid off. We're like, what the fuck? This torch doesn't work. What the fuck? It's not a torch, it's a cunt. I mean, what a shock. And what an awful word to describe a vagina. Oh, that's not a torch, that's a cunt. So yeah, then what happened next was a note was left on the torch on his bed, being like, listen, we need to discuss what'll happen in this house if there's a power cut. And then they had a candle, but bizarrely enough, instead of a wick, it was just a little mini cock. And they're like, oh no, why is everything little miniature sex toys in this house? Yeah. So yeah, basically don't make sex toys discreet. That's all I'm saying. You know, make sex toys the opposite of discreet. Ben, Google what the opposite of discreet is, because I don't know off the top of my head. Because this is late at night. I'm tired. I want to go home.
So the opposite of discreet?
Yeah, the opposite of discreet. What is that?
Indiscreet.
The opposite of discreet, not discreet. Yeah, so just let's make sex toys indiscreet. So like actually have branding and just like on like big bold writing like that sort of font, just saying dildo on it, and then like put it up in your wardrobe, dildo, so people be like, oh, it's a dildo, dead on.
Or just not a torch.
Yes, not a torch. Not for illuminating things, for putting up your anus. Just anus only, not the shed. I mean, anus only is, well, like, the last few podcasts have just been sexually named podcasts, so maybe this week we'll go for something a little bit different. You know, Ben, what do you think that should we call it? We'll call it the Premonitions pod this week, won't we? There you go. That's all we need. But yeah, let's start a campaign to make sex toys indiscreet, please, so people know what's up. Yeah, and then maybe that's what the wee slogan should be after it. Be like dildo, and then just 3 dots, and then you know what's up. And then furthermore, this in your body. This sex toy will be inside you. Have you ever put it in your ass before, man?
No.
Not even a wee cheeky finger?
No.
A pencil?
No.
Stick?
No.
Has anything ever inadvertently flown up your ass? I'm not saying like a pigeon, but like, has anything just got up there by accident?
No.
No. Would it be something you'd be open to be doing on the podcast, putting something up your ass?
No.
I'll tell you, I've had one thing up my ass before. It's a finger, but only when wiping my bum. Because I normally use only the highest quality toilet roll, but unfortunately on this occasion I was in public and I had to use, like, I think it was actually, you know, tissue paper, but not toilet tissue paper. You know, tissue paper like you cut up and make like pigeons out of, and like art, trees and fucking flowers and shit. And my fingers went right at my bum, and I remember stopping like this, because I thought I was going to phone a doctor to extract my fist from my asshole, because once one went up, they all went up, and it was a traumatic experience. But I discovered very quickly that anal play's not for me. I'm an exit only kind of guy. I'm a one-way street, you know. So what I'm saying is, when inevitably I do come out as a gay man and I split up with my wife and stuff, I will be a top. You know, I'll not be a bottom, because I don't like things in my bottom. You know, I like to put things in bottoms by all means. Like, I actually put many things in bottoms in my time. You know, Subudio balls, eggs, spoons. You know, just the works. Just I'm a guy that's fixated with asses. I'm a bottom guy. I didn't actually mean to say that. That was very personal, but I mean, you know, interesting. But by the way, you haven't put a Subudio ball up your ass ever? You should try it and then fart. If you think Cristiano Ronaldo can hit a power blaster, you've never seen someone fart a Subudio ball out their ass.
My weekend, I didn't have anything planned for the weekend, so thanks.
Yeah, I think you can go on Amazon and buy like packs of 3 or 4 Subudio balls. So you can whack them up and just have it like, you know, like a Nerf gun out your ass. Boom. You know, like, do you remember can you put this clip up in the background? Do you remember the goal Leeds legendary Leeds striker Tony Yeboah scored against Wimbledon? That was the ultimate like lamp of a football. Like, he fucking that's the velocity in which you could fart a Subudio ball out, by the way. The velocity of Tony Yeboah striking the ball against Wimbledon. So please put that up there and imagine a Subudio ball flying out your ass with that velocity. Any listeners or nerds, get your pencils out. Don't put a pencil up your ass too, because it could put someone's eye out if you fart a pencil out. What I'm saying is, do some physics, work out the velocity of someone farting a Subudio ball out their ass. By the way, I'm doing a show in the Ulster Hall on the 17th of December, and I've just spent the last 10 minutes talking about farting Subudio balls out your ass.
Yeah, if you like that, where do you see Dave at the Ulster Hall?
Yeah, I'm not actually doing stand-up, I'm just doing tricks. Like, do you ever remember the show Penis Puppeteering? Ben, have you ever heard of that? It was a very popular theatre show back in the day. Google Penis Puppeteering. It's basically guys just making shapes out of their penis and scrotum. Fascinating. What I do is similar to Penis Puppeteering, but just anal skills, and that's just what my show's called. And this is what the follow-up to Pillowtalk will be, anal skills, where I will just put various things. In fact, anal science, I should call my show. So I'll just put various things up my anus and just get a physicist there to see, you know, what the crack is. Maybe that's it. What's a scientific crack? Are you looking up penis puppeteering? Yeah. Is it X-rated to do penis puppeteering? Could I like show you some pieces? I could do the Eiffel Tower, I'm pretty sure, but I don't want to get my actual generals out in the podcast. Patreon.com/Sly Guy Podcast. I'll do some penis puppeteering for you. But yeah, so yeah, I'm going to probably have to sort of wind things down here, because this podcast has gone off on a really weird tangent thanks to Demi Lovato and their sex wand. Before I go, I just want to let people know that I got another job this week. I got 2 jobs, Davey 2 jobs. I got the Davey 2 jobs, got the flu jobs, and then I got my booster job as well. So now listen, the government, I am officially an agent. Oh, I'm an MI5 agent now, because the government have put so many vaccines in me that officially it. But guess what, Ben? Did I tell you that there was a full incident when I went to get my jab? The place where I went, a church hall, was infiltrated by anti-vaxxers. So this guy came in, true bill, right? I went, got my jab, went in, booster one arm, flu jab the other. Who knows? I don't know. I can't. Here's the thing: I can't actually remember anymore because since I've had the jabs, my brain stopped working. I can't remember, my own name, and it's just a real problematic scenario. And all the ventricles in my heart have melted. So there you have it. But I went in, as you go, get your wee jab. Anyone's had the jab will know once you've had it, you need to go and sit for like 15 minutes, they say. I actually left after 13. So yeah, say I'm a sheep. He's got his booster, he's a sheep. Hey, 13 minutes, eat a dick, right? So I'm sitting there waiting. And at this point, there's an old woman standing at the door ready to be the next one to get the jab. And I just hear this shouting, be like, the hospitals are filled with people with heart failure due to the vaccine. People who have the vaccine are heart failure, blah blah. I just hear this commotion of this anti-vaxxer coming in, shouting all these facts about the vaccine. Then what happened? One of the doctors got up and walked out and was like, right, what's going on here? And you heard it's killing people, blah blah. And the doctor was like, nah, the vaccine helps you. I've had it. I'm a doctor. I've had it. I've worked frontline. I've been stepping into the COVID wards to help during the thing. I mean, I think what you find is unvaccinated people are actually the ones who are blocking up but I mean, what do I know? I'm only a doctor. And he was like, no, you're wrong. And then I heard him go, don't touch me. And it's like, oh no, full like fucking drama there. And then what I loved, see the old woman who's standing next in line. By this point, she's getting pretty annoyed. She's just looking, like just like an old Karen type look. She's like pure disgust, like this face looking. And then she came out with one of the greatest lines I've ever heard. She just goes over to the anti-vaxxer. I say goes over, she looked at him because she's this sort of fat old grumpy woman. Just looked over and she just goes, would you ever piss off? This is a church. Like what a line. Will you ever just piss off? This is a church. The next line would have been, you should just go fuck yourself because we're in a place of worship, you fucking whore, but she just like really let loose. Just piss off, this is a church. And then just walked in like a boss to get her vaccine. Everyone was like, you're a hero. And then she fainted when she saw a needle, so fuck her. But no, it was a good moment. It was fun to see. And again, a bit of drama, and I got a little bit scared. Got a wee bit scared because I'm like, realistically, people feel so strongly about the vaccine, about the passport, whether they agree with it, whether they don't, that some people are actually going a little bit doolally. And it just made me think of that. And that person could have come in conceivably with a gun and just shot people. You know what I mean? Which wouldn't have been pleasant. It would have been unpleasant. By the way, speaking of unpleasant, there's 3 notifications on my phone here. One, I've just got a new follower on Twitter. Nice. Cheers, Gary. Nice. Welcome to the parade. The other is my Fitbit app just saying it's time for you to go to bed, mate. Which, I mean, my mum doesn't even do that anymore. I'm 35, but Fitbit every night. It's time to get ready for bed. And then also a wee story in BBC saying that, Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's #1 squeeze? Well, apparently Ghislaine Maxwell served up young girls for Jeffrey Epstein to abuse, prosecutors allege, as British socialites trial opens in the US. I'll tell you something, I'll be interested in that case. Maybe it's something for us to talk about at a later date on the podcast, Ben. What do you think?
Yeah.
I mean, you know what, Ben? You were yawning there, but guess what? We talked about it earlier. This is actually the start of the 50-hour podcast. We're just going. We're going to keep going. And we're going to blast through it. Let me just see. Yeah, some Sly Dig topics this week. Filing Mick is, and again, by the way, if you want to submit topics to the Sly Dig, patreon.com/Sly Guy Podcast. And by the way, people, keep sharing the podcast if you're listening on the stories, on Instagram stories, whatever else. Let's get it out there. Let's start a reel. Let's get some momentum going into me being full time, so we can really start ramping up the podcast, start getting more enjoyable episodes. Guess what, Ben? Are we going to have a podcast where we have guests over on Patreon? What? Yeah, but not over here, so whatever. 50-hour podcast, mind your own business. Violent Mick has said, the COVID passport website, it's not a conspiracy, it's a fucking melt. Have you tried to get your passport yet? No. Come on the mic. Don't be a pussy. Sitting over there nodding. Come on, if you're gonna, why not? Do you want to go in public?
Oh no, I have the app thing on my phone.
Yeah,
that's
you got. But have you put your ID and all in, and you've got
the wee picture of myself and all?
Nice, but they've not sent you anything yet? Not official.
I have 2 QR codes I can use.
Nice, because I'm going to Disney on Ice on Saturday. Apparently, I need that. You know what? This is how I look at it. Disney on Ice are like, you can't come in unless you got the passport. Like, but I want to come in. They're like, well, then you need the passport.
I do have.
Guess what? Got the passport. Well, how do you get it up, mate? What do you go to? Because I have applied for it and I had to take a photo of myself today when I looked especially blotchy and it made me unhappy.
COVID Cert NI.
I've got the app. Yeah. So what do?
You have to register and log in and all that fun stuff.
Well, I mean, apply for the COVID cert. I have applied for it. So, I don't know what I need to do. Start now, does it say? But I've already applied for it. So I'm not going to do that. Did it today.
Yeah, that's fair. Both my doses.
Both your doses, so you get one of those for each dose. So I should have 3 because I just love getting vaccinated. Maybe that's my sex fetish. I just love getting vaccinated. I mean, maybe I should look at this when I'm not doing the podcast. Ben's literally going like, your Fitbit app saying go to bed. I also would like to go to bed. So yeah, I think it just proved there, Mick, that it is a bit of a melt because I applied for it earlier and there's obviously an issue now. Owen Kelly said having the general, oh God, case numbers are bad again conversation. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't make me angry. It just makes me sad. I just think the cases are getting bad again. People no longer, because we're used to it, anything that's new that people don't know about, they're frightened of. So at the beginning of everything, they're like, oh, COVID's terrible, frightened of it, expecting millions to die. Then when, thank God, not as many died as maybe people feared, and people are like, we know all about it now because we read about it on the internet, so I don't care, I'm going out without a mask on. Which I thought was stupid. I was actually in England when Freedom Day happened. Oh my God. And people were just in restaurants without a mask, and I was sitting there looking like Shredder from the Turtles. And I was wearing a helmet made out of blades as well, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, that does annoy me. It just makes me sad. Annie Mura said, what are your thoughts on people who insist on running on the road despite a perfectly fine unobstructed footpath freely available to them? Personally, I think they're a pain in the hole who probably need hard drives checked by police. Well, you know what? I'm going to put them with road people who don't look each way when they cross the road, like Fat Sam Smith head, skinny body person. And he said boy, don't know if I'm assuming. But I just think, like, if you're on the road, it's a dog-eat-dog world. It's big cat in the jungle, baby. So you're running on the road and the car's there and you're in the way, you get hit. So, sorry. You have to get out of the car, stand over them, just be like, listen, eat a dick. Let's bring back eating dicks. There's another campaign for it. So if Demi Lovato's running to be an MLA, they're introducing the Demi wand and sexual pleasure, and they also should just bring out the eat a dick mandate. And I would go for it. And Paul Doherty has lastly said, when you hold the door for someone to let them through but they don't acknowledge you, no thanks or anything, they just treat you like you're their butler. Now, this does really annoy me. Basic manners is something that I really appreciate, and I'm a please and thank you kind of guy. I'm a polite person. See, when I'm on this podcast, I'm a wild beast. I say whatever I want, but see, in real life, you'll not meet a sweeter darling. Is that right, Ben? Come on the mic and tell everyone I'm sweet darling. You fucking idiot.
You're a sweet darling.
Thank you very much. But it reminds me, it's quite interesting. I'm finishing my job next week. And I remember my very first day in the job, I went into this office in Hill Street in Belfast. And I was sort of being shown about the place, introduced to people. This is Dave. He's a fucking route, and he's going to be working with us for a while now, 13 years later. But I was being brought around, and I remember as I was going out of a door, I opened the door and let this old guy, this old balding bearded geriatric looking fuck, in the door, and he just walked past, didn't acknowledge I exist, just walked on past without saying a word. And I was with my manager on the first day, and I opened the door and I looked at the old said geriatric fuck and I went, "You're very welcome, sir," like that, sarky, loud enough that he heard. Then I got outside, the manager's like, "You can't say that, that's the managing director of the company." And I was like, I don't care if he is the managing director of the universe, he's an ignorant bastard and needs to learn basic manners. I would think if you're the king of the world or you're tramping the street, you should not have manners. I would think more of a tramp in the street than I would of a king if the tramp in the street had manners. And people probably can't use the phrase tramp in the street anymore. Well, guess what? I did. Cry me a river. Alright, so yeah, manners is a basic thing with me, alright? And the Sly Guy Podcast is proudly brought to you by Fat Bastrd Burger. Listen, we've spoken about it before. Ben, have you got your mouth around the Fat Bastrd Burger yet, or is it something on your to-do list?
It's on my to-do list.
When are you thinking this weekend? I'll get it for you. I'm going to get you a Fat Bastrd Burger and let you try that out for you and your wife. Not your kids, they can just eat gruel or something, but for you and your wife, because Fat Bastrd Burger, as we all know now, is the sister company to our long-time friends, Bebe Adrianos. And Fat Bastrd Burger are trying to bring a level of taste and quality to the burger market that they think doesn't exist. You know, too often nowadays burgers are mushed into this thin patty. We've said in this podcast before, we don't like thin meat in our mouth. We like a nice fat bit of girth going between our chops, and that's what Fat Bastrd Burger give us, because they use nothing but Wagyu beef, which, Ben, by the way, is the most sought after meat. It is thick, it is marbled, it is tasty, delicious beef, and that's what Fat Bastrd Burger patties are made of. The beef of Fat Bastrd Burgers are 100% Wagyu beef. No, nothing like it. It's copious marbling. It's luxurious taste, buttery tenderness like nothing else. Delicious. The Fat Bastrd Burger not only tastes good, they have great sense of humour as well. Some of these burger names are very akin to what we like here on the Sly Guy Podcast. You have the original Fat Bastrd, the cheesy Fat Bastrd, the porky Fat Bastrd, which is of course the Fat Bastrd with some pork on board as well, and the Ringo Stingo Fat Burger, which is just like a delicious Mexican spice burger, which is going to make your butthole sore the next day. And if you've got a sore butthole now, you can just use Demi Lovato's wand as well to fix that, but whatever. The Fat as Fuck Duck. And of course, if you don't necessarily just want meat, you don't want beef, you can have some chicken. And like myself, you're crazy for cock, I recommend the Crazy for Cock chicken burger as well. Then you're sitting over there being like, oh, I'm really hungry, but I'm a vegetarian. My mouth is running. Well, you know what you need then? You need to try the cauliflower and quinoa burger, which is equally delicious and vegetarian and vegan friendly. If you want to know more, go to fatbastardburger.com. And as well as the Fat Bastrd Burger, if you just want to continue with the traditional Bebe Adrianos, you can still do that with their traditional boxes. They have the dirt box and the dirty cock and cow box. Still serving up the taste supreme in your mouth whenever you want it. And as well as it's Christmas, I mean, you know what, I'm on a diet until I go to do my big show in the Ulster Hall. Then I'm going to take a few days off, and I'm guaranteed that I'm going to get the Bebe Adrianos Christmas wrap, because I love Christmas dinner and I love Bebe Adrianos, and generally this is just, as well as generally, this is just the nicest Christmas wrap on the market. It's turkey, ham, stuffing, sweet potato fries, crunchy chicken. Ben, do you hear that? Turkey, ham, stuffing and chicken. So much meat, so much flavour. Cranberry, mayo, lettuce, chipolata sausages. Oh my god, more meat. All in a 12-inch wrap. What a meaty 12-inch feast that is. If you're looking for 10% off your first order, download the Bebe Adrianos app or the Fat Bastrd Burger app, which, by the way, some days they do 2 for 1s and some days they do 20% off. So it's worth getting the app. It's worth exploring. It's worth coming to my kingdom in North Down. I give you a free pass. I'm not checking your COVID passports or your regular passports to get into my kingdom if you're going to Fat Bastrd Burger or Bebe Adrianos. So get on the apps, order online, get it delivered, call in the shop in person. If you go in the shop in person, say Davey sent you heard it in the Sly Guy Podcast. Or if you want to order on the telephone, say, I don't know, you're like a pensioner or some shit. Who even uses telephones nowadays? Just mobiles. These guys just using their house phones to ring up, be like, hello, can I please order a dirty cock and cow box, please? Ring the number 02891 47 9988. That's 02891 47 99 88. Tell them Snake Rat sent you, tell them Davey sent you. Fat Bastrd Burger and Bebe Adrianos, a match made in food heaven. Ben, that was a beautiful read from me there, wasn't it? beautiful, honest, enthusiastic, and like myself, you know, this next company is Modest, and that's Modest Beer. Modest Beer is always brought to you in association with the Sly Guy Podcast. I don't even know if this is official anymore, but even if it isn't, I will keep reading it because I'm a fan of Modest Beer. Modest are an independent brewery, just crafting small batch beers for discerning drinkers. Originally brewed here in Holywood, County Down, in the Kingdom. I said, listen, brew here. It's all good, baby. But now they've widened their wings, they've spread, they've gone to pastures new, and Modest are on the up, just like this podcast. And if you're keen to know more, you want to know what, they've such a wide range that even these cans don't do it justice. By the way, if you're listening, Modest, I need new beers, alright? But check it out. Go to www.modestbeer.co.uk to find out your nearest stockist and some more information, or check them out on social media, Instagram, Facebook and Twitter at Modest Beer. You'll not regret it. Guys, speaking of things you'll not regret, please also rate and review the podcast. It really helps us climb the charts, get the word out there. We're just a wee independent podcast, just trying our best to make quality content week in, week out. Ben, we've done hundreds of podcasts now. Hundreds. There's another 91 on the Patreon. I'm just one brain. Just one wee, well, some would even argue not even a full brain. Just trying to make this content for you guys. So all I ask in return is, yes, you become patrons, but also, you know, you rate and review the podcast. As well, I was supposed to talk about my Ulster Hall show because, you know, it's coming up very close. There's still some tickets left. I would love to sell it out. Honest to God. The ground floor is selling really well. The balcony's starting to move. I'm genuinely chuffed that people are actually wanting to see me do stand-up, and I know that a lot of people will say this, but genuinely I know this is my best hour of stand-up to date, and I was really proud of my dad's show, but I feel Pillowtalk is my best ever show. So please get tickets to see that. It's on 17th of December. You can get tickets through my social media or on the Waterfront website or on the Ticketmaster website, wherever you want to get your tickets. Just Google Dave Elliott Ulster Hall, and that's how you get your tickets. It's on a Friday night. It's going to be a lot of fun. I know we'll lead up to Christmas. I'll probably talk about some Christmas stuff. I'll maybe do over an hour. Why am I saying this? I won't, but I might. Who knows? I might just get too excited and do silly things. But anyway, come to the show. It'll be a lot of fun, and I'd love to see you there. Ben, you look a wee bit fidgety. Are you annoyed? How long have we been talking here for? Come on the mic. Come on, jump on. We're all friends here.
Coming up to an hour.
Coming up. How long's coming up to an hour?
58 minutes.
Now, as well, 58 minutes, you have to do a little cut as well, because I blew my nose really loud because there's a lot of gunk up there because I have 2 young kids. And they give me colds, you know, not that they've melted my brain or anything, but it's probably true. Sharon has said, what was your favourite and least favourite bar from a selection box as a kid? Ben, get right back in that mic, you set it down. Selection boxes, are you a fan? I'm going to say no, you don't look a fan. What the hell?
Not massively.
Would you have been when you were younger, or would you be a fan
younger,
of a box of sweets on Christmas, or what would be your more... Like, see, nowadays, I like to eat ham, and like to eat cheeses, and drink wine. I like to drink Baileys. I like to drink Five Farms Irish Cream Whiskey. Liqueur, by the way, 10 out of 10, do recommend. What would be your vibe?
Well, back in the day, a selection box would have been much appreciated, but yeah.
Would it have been a Cadbury selection box you'd normally go for? Yeah. Get that, like, you get weird things in there, so what do you get? You get dairy milk. You get like one of those wee animal bars, don't you? You get like a chomp, a fudge, which nobody really likes the fudge. I'm a big fan of a chomp. I think it's a very underrated chocolate bar. Are you checking out the buttons you get in there too, don't you?
So you get...
Go for Cadbury's, yeah.
Okay, so dairy milk.
Yep.
A chomp.
Yep.
Freddo.
Freddo nowadays, yeah.
A fudge.
Yeah.
Another Freddo. Buttons.
Mm-hmm.
And a curly whirly.
No chomp?
Yeah, chomp. I said chomp.
Okay, chomp, that's good. Because curly whirly is kind of like a cheap chomp. People used to think curly whirlies were amazing, but they got you because they're just like, this is a little bit of what a chomp is, but like not enough. Whereas a chomp's condensed caramel. I mean, not good for a man of fillings, but you know, I'm all for it. What would you pick out of that if it was your choice? Out of that selection box, what's the first thing? Snake rat fingers?
Probably a chomp.
Yeah, a couple of lads looking at chomp. Yeah.
And then probably go for Freddo for the nostalgia of that.
Yeah, well, what I would definitely do would be give my kids the buttons and the fudge, because I'm not interested in that. But you can have this, and they'd be like, but Daddy, that's my selection box. And I'd be like, yeah, but I don't give a fuck, because I can literally lift you with one hand by your hair. So, you know, do whatever you want. Not that I have, but I know I could if I wanted. So yeah, my least favourite would probably be the fudge, and my favourite the chomp. Which, I mean, fudge, caramel, not a million miles difference in it. But listen, that's the way we go. The original TP has said, what's my favourite Arsenal shirt of all time? Probably the home kit from the 1997-98 season when we won the double. That's beaut, the nice Burkamp shirt that I had, or the golden one with Sega on it. I really like that as well. But the new Adidas kits are dope as well, to be fair. The Bruised Banana kit's an all-time classic, so it's hard to pick one. But yeah, I like that we're now back with Adidas. But I've just told you my two favourite ever Nike kits, so there you go. Do whatever you want. Rebecca Baxter said, when is it acceptable for putting a Christmas tree up? Right now, baby. It's December. Once you're in December, put your tree up. Mine's going up on Sunday this year. So it's all exciting. You want to hear something quite funny? My 3-year-old, right? It's her birthday on the following week, and she goes, I said to her, what do you want to do for your birthday, right? And bear in mind, oh no, she's coming for what? My wife's ringing me. Hold on, I'll answer her in the podcast. Still on, hold on. Hello. Is everyone alright? Why is everyone alright? Yeah, no, you sound like you're afraid of somebody holding you at gunpoint. Okay, no, I'm literally just finishing the last questions here and then I'm going. Yeah. Oh no, I thought it'd be done by now too, but I talk shit. So. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I was just going to say that I'm going to put the heat on now, but would you turn her off whenever you come in?
Yes, okay. Did you pick that? Can you hear that? Yeah, so everyone can hear this in the podcast. Good. Love that. Love you. Bye-bye.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're fully on the podcast. Ben's laughing over there with the earphones in, hearing everything you said. Okay, so yeah, I'll turn the heat off. Love you. Bye-bye. I mean, I thought she was going to be like, oh, maybe you come home, we might be able to watch something. Nah, just turn the heat on. But you know what that means, Ben? She's going to bed. You know what that means? I get to play FIFA. Just started season with Wickham, and I've put a bid in for Gigi Buffon. He'll not sign, but we'll see. So yeah, stick of Christmas decorations up now. But anyway, sorry, I was distracted there. My 3-year-old said, what do you want to do for your birthday? Right? Ben, you've had a 3-year-old. You do have a 3-year-old now too, don't you? You have a current 3-year-old, just recently turned, yeah?
No, well, she'll be turning 4 in February.
Yeah, so okay, well, it's just a bit. My point is, she's younger than mine.
A seasoned 3-year-old.
A seasoned 3-year-old, a pro. So, say you asked her what you want to do for her birthday, what would she say?
She'd probably just shout something at me.
You know, mindset, right? You be me and say, what would you like to do for your birthday?
What would you like to do for your birthday?
Like to go to the Esplanade. And what? Want to go to the Esplanade for a dinner? Went, alright. Like, why 17? Like, not 17, 45. Like, if you're 17, you'd be like, I want to go to Jamaica, but I want to go to the Esplanade. So, take her to the Esplanade for dinner. And she's like, just you, me and mummy. I went, what about your sister? Nah, don't want her to go. I went, appreciate your honesty.
For your birthday, you went to the soft play, didn't you, though?
Yeah, I went to soft play for my birthday, which was a lot of fun, you know. But like, each to their own. We have different rules in my family. But yeah, so we're going out for dinner with her, and then, but to be fair, are we surprised she doesn't know about it? She's going to Disney on Ice the weekend, dressed as fucking Elsa from Frozen, like every other fucking stupid wee prick going, I'm sure. Anyway, Ali Hart has said, will you be a guest on my podcast? Ali, no, I won't. Absolutely 0%. No interest. No, I'm joking, of course. Well, just send me a message. Let me know where you record your podcast, and I'll come and do it. Phil has said, I saw this misspelled quote from a daughter to her mum. She's mugged her mum off. Something shocking here. Have either of your kids done something like this or said something unintentionally X-rated? And the note says, how old was you when you could ride a dick? I mean, didn't know her child was Snoop Dogg, but yeah, I mean, my kids are always saying weird things. Like I've said before in the podcast, when Holly, who the 3-year-old that wants to just go out for like a proper meal for her 3rd birthday, she came into the bathroom once when I was in the shower and was like, Dad, the girls have twinkles. And I went, yeah, they do. She went, Dad, the boys have winkies. And I went, yeah, they do. She goes, well, why have you got a twinkle? And I was in the shower, which is just a really obviously cold shower. really embarrassed by that. Then another time, again, I spoke about it in the podcast, I was driving the car, lost my temper a bit, called someone a dickhead, thought nothing of it, didn't think she heard. Next day I asked her about that doll of Jimin right there. I was like, oh, do you like it? Would you like it, wee dolly? Do you like it? And she goes, nah, he's a dickhead. And I was like, oh no. So yeah, oh no, why, like, I did really well this whole episode, then not punching the mic. Literally, she says, I'm just close, I'm tired, I need to go to my bed. Douche. Headbutt the mic. Right guys, I think this has been a lot of fun. Go out and buy Demi Lovato's dildo, and yeah, we'll have a good time. See you next week. Take care.
I'm the Sly Guy.